Hi, I'm AYESHA Jeffries-Ponton and I'm an entrepreneur. This is my video for Big Ideas Wales. So if you guys are thinking about running your own business or being your own boss, you should get a lot out of this video, hopefully. So I started pretty much before leaving school. Kind of like you guys now, I was sat in class and didn't realize that I'd actually already put things in place to run my own business. I started as a musician. I was playing in bands before I knew what playing in bands was all about, pretty much. When I was 14, I'll never forget, I was falling asleep in music class. My music teacher was not very happy with me, and she banged on the desk and woke me up and said, "You're falling asleep during my class, you better have a good reason." And I said, "I was gigging at the weekend, miss." And she said, "What do you mean you were gigging at the weekend?" I said, "Well, I've been doing gigs and stuff for a while now." And she said, "You getting paid?" I said, "Yeah." So I had actually already started being in business. I was earning money from a very early on age. So if any of you are actors, singers, dancers, photographers, artists, chances are at some point in your lives you're going to be self-employed. You're going to be an entrepreneur. I do want to express to you that the opportunities are there if you're prepared to look and if you're brave enough to go after them. Whether or not you think you're ready for them even. Just get out there and have some fun. Doing something that you love can easily become a viable business, and a successful one at that. So anyway, I started early on. I had a great time playing in bands, playing keyboards, singing in bands. But I just loved the live scene. I loved being around creative people. And so one thing kind of led to another, and I thought, well, how can I be even more involved? I started writing my own music. I had some success with my first album, and a few of the songs were featured on radio and had some great reviews, and I placed quite highly in the international songwriting competition. And you know, in 2014, 2015, my songs were everywhere, and it was amazing. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is incredible. This is what I want to do. So I became more of an original artist. So I'd had a lot of experience playing other people's music. Time to write my own music and get out there with that. So I've just released my second album, and things are going pretty well at the moment. So that's still something that's always going to be part of who I am as a musician and as an artist. So if any of you write poetry or love lyrics, I'm sure we've got some budding rappers or singers amongst you. I'm living proof that get out there, get your music done. You have more technology on your phone than the Beatles had when they recorded back in the day. And I hope all of you know who the Beatles are. That's important. I then went on, I realized that I wanted to release music and write music, but I also wanted to make the art that accompanies the music, which was the music videos. So I started making my own music videos. And kind of a random story, through music videos, got more heavily involved in filmmaking. Few successes I've had to date. My first short film, which was originally a music video, ended up winning Best Fantasy at Top Shorts Film Festival. It was the first film I'd ever made, and I thought, oh my gosh, I've got no business making a film. I had a really cheap camera, I had no budget, but I had an idea. So if you take nothing else from this video, start where you are with exactly what you have and make something cool. Get your friends in to help, you know. And again, I mentioned that technology, the technology you have available to you is far more than than everybody had back in the day when they were first learning to film things and record things. The sky's the limit for you guys. So my first film did really well, and my second film did pretty good too. It's out on the festival circuit at the moment. Another success story, I guess. I won Best Original Song at Florence Film Awards 2020. Now, sadly, due to COVID-19, I couldn't attend the awards. I was supposed to do the red carpet thing and sing in this beautiful theater in Florence and receive the award. And I do have the award. I'll show you later. A lot of you will think, hang on, success means money. A lot of people do. That's, you know, but I think that equally, success can mean happiness. Happiness is where it is in terms of, is where it's at in terms of success, I think. I've been very fortunate to have a lot of fun and make some money along the way. Essentially, I think that if you are going to exchange your time for money, then try and have the best time you can have doing just that. And in order to do that, I think it's important that you find something you love and dig in deep and be the best you can be at that thing. So what mindset do I possess that has helped me become a successful entrepreneur? Well, I think that there's a lot of things I'm not. I will tell you what I'm not first. I'm not the most organized person. That is something that I'm constantly battling with. So if any of you sat here today are just that little bit disorganized or find it hard getting up early in the morning, and don't worry, that's okay. You can work on that, and you should work on that. I'm always trying to work on my weaker skills. But I think what I have got in spades is creativity. I think that I'm a creative problem solver, so I can make something out of nothing. If you can be creative, that's big, because it will help you do so much with so very little. And so creative thinking is essential, I think. Another thing is confidence. I think that, and it doesn't have to be, look at me, I'm fantastic, I have all the answers. Confidence can be very quiet. It can be quite soulful, quite spiritual, in that you know what you have inside of you that is worth sharing. You know what you are capable of that is worth putting out there. And that's confidence. I'm doing this video and I find it quite difficult to talk about myself, and I ramble a little bit, you might have noticed. But you have to have the confidence to put yourself out there, and in doing so, you are encouraging others to be more confident. And there's this wonderful kinetic energy then that happens when you are confident and everyone is encouraged to be themselves, and creative things take hold and projects and dreams are made reality. So confidence is key. You can get away with not knowing anything else, but knowing what you're worth. So that's good. I'm probably talking to a few of you that get in trouble occasionally for talking too much in school. That was actually something that came to help me a lot when I started becoming more involved in my business and seeking out opportunities. I wasn't afraid to talk to anybody. What's the worst that can happen? Really, people love being talked to for the most part, unless they're busy. But then a good compliment goes a long way too. Get out there and meet people that inspire you and ask them how they got started. They love that. When I was starting in film, I didn't understand a lot about how the camera worked, and I didn't know how to direct properly. So I asked people and I said, hey, I love what you've done. How did you do it? And people are very responsive to that. So if you see somebody that is inspiring to you, start up a conversation. You never know where it might lead. For me, it's led to a lot of exciting places. But it was only by striking up a conversation and being open and willing to learn and say, look, I don't know much, but I'm excited and interested by this industry. People are very kind when it comes to someone who is keen and interested in what they do. And yeah, just get out there, start talking, and you'll be amazed at what can happen. The main skill I think that is essential if you're going to run your own business is that you have to have a positive attitude. It sounds so cheesy, but it's so true. People immediately respond to someone who is confident and happy and hopeful and positive. People just gravitate towards that. So you are already putting out some great things before you've even shown what you're capable of. And so positivity, it's powerful. Also, it will get you through those times. I mean, I've had some great successes. I've also had some crippling failures. I think when you're an artist like myself, you're gonna look at something you create and think, oh no, and it doesn't matter how good it is, you're still gonna think, is it good enough? Am I good enough? Am I crazy? And because you've just created something and then you have to share it and tell people about it. And it's one of the scariest, most humbling things you can do. And then when you do share it, maybe it doesn't do as well as you'd hoped. And you think, oh no, it's a failure. But it can never be a failure if you've done your best, for one, because it's taken you somewhere. You've learned something. You've made it that forward progression. You've been brave enough to finish something, and then you've been brave enough to share it. So it will never be a failure, even if it doesn't make as much money as you'd hoped, or doesn't get as many likes as you hoped. It can never truly be a failure, because it is. It simply is. And being positive about it will help you dust yourself off when things don't go according to plan, and just make things work. As long as you are doing your best, and as long as the next thing you do is gradually better than the last thing you did, then you're doing great things. So having that positive attitude will keep you going, and it should keep you going no matter what. Dig your heels in. Failure is not an option. Risk is a scary word. It stops a lot of dreams dead in their tracks, because you think, I've got this amazing idea, what do I do with it? But, oh no, this might happen. This awful thing might happen. And we will look at the awful thing that might happen, and the dream will get tossed aside. But what if we were to just have a bit more balance in that equation and go, okay, I've got this idea, it could be great, but this might happen, and this awful thing might happen, but this might happen, this great thing might happen. You should, of course, weigh things up. You should weigh things up. It's important to do that. But ultimately, something I've come to know personally and quite profoundly is that you will never have everything you need. You will never feel comfortable putting yourself out there and taking that leap. You will never have everything you need to ensure that you will succeed. Success is not something that is guaranteed, ever. Even if you have all the money in the world and all the support in the world, you could still fail. So yes, there's risk in everything, but it must be taken. The risk must be taken, because even if you've done everything you can to limit the risk, there's still a risk. So don't let it hold you back completely. There are ways of just easing yourself in. When I first started creating music, I started small. I started with what I could afford. Start where you are with what you have, and then you might get the confidence to take bigger steps and make bigger gambles and take bigger risks. Everything worth doing has risk involved. That's the truth of the matter. And I am fortunate enough to have many talented friends whom I know and love, and some of them have done things with their ideas and their thoughts and their dreams, and some of them are waiting until it feels safe to take the leap. And I'm going to tell you right now, you will never feel safe to take the leap. That's why it's a leap. It's a leap of faith. But it's not necessarily a leap of faith in the unknown. It's a leap of faith in yourself. personal risks for me have been quite simply sharing what I do with the world and waiting for everybody to judge it. And that to me feels like a risk every time. I've invested my time, my money, my effort, my hopes, my dreams, my heart, my tears, my blood, sweat and tears into creating something. And then I have to show it and hope that it does something and it's worthwhile and people get something out of it. And that always feels like a risk. I'm taking that risk right now. My album is out right now and it's getting some great reviews. Whew, so, but it's always a risk. It's always going to be a risk. Everything is a risk. It's worth taking. It doesn't matter if people value what you do. I think that we put far too high a premium on other people's approval of what we do. And that's something that can be very dangerous. And it can stop a lot of great ideas in their tracks. You are all sitting here and you've all had great ideas. And you may have shared them and you may not have, but I feel sorry for great ideas sometimes when someone has a great idea and they tell it to a friend, and it all hinges on how that friend responds as to how that idea progresses. So you say to your friend, I got this great idea, and your friend goes, oh no, that's crazy, what are you thinking? And instantly that dream, that idea is, whew, okay, maybe I'm crazy, maybe it's a stupid idea, maybe I'm stupid, I won't do anything with it then. And that's scary to me that happens, because in my humble experience, the craziest ideas I've had have been the most rewarding. You mustn't be afraid to be embarrassed. Fear of being embarrassed stops a lot of great things happening. It stops a lot of great actors from acting. It stops a lot of great filmmakers from making films. It stops some people from leaving their house unless they've done their hair a certain way or got the right clothes and they feel just right to leave the house for fear of being embarrassed. Fear is something that needs to be beaten with a stick. You need to take fear and just get rid of it. It has no place. Fear is useless unless we're dealing with things that are actually scary, like bears and deadly spiders. Okay, fear has a place. It doesn't have a place in business. If you are doing your homework and you've weighed up your risks and you've got your idea and you've got things in place and you know that you have the capability to pull this off with all your heart, fear has no place. Absolutely none. My business has been particularly hard hit by the situation we're all facing with COVID-19. Basically, I performed my last live gig on the 21st of March. The day after, lockdown occurred, and for my industry, hasn't been lifted quite yet. I'm speaking to you in September 2020, and as of right now, I still can't perform live. So overnight, my business was pretty much switched off like a light switch. So I've had some very hefty challenges in the last few weeks. I haven't let it get to me. I feel like the industry is likely to possibly come back even better than before. I have to be positive and I have to stay positive. So I've been navigating the situation by being more entrepreneurial. So entrepreneurial thinking helps you out in these times because I've already been through a lot of hard times and this is just another one to get through and to overcome. I can't speak highly enough of entrepreneurial bravery. If you can hone in on these entrepreneurial skills that you're learning, they will stand you in great stead for things like COVID-19. Society's ticking along and everything's normal, and then all of a sudden, just goes to show you, as I mentioned, you can plan everything as much as you like. Something can come along and derail your ideas. So you have to be strong enough to know, no matter what, that you can keep going. So my final thought, thanks for listening to me. I know I can talk for whales. So my final thought for you today, out there right now is someone just like you that is doing what you want to do with your life. Whatever floats your boat. If they're driving a fast car, they've got a beautiful house, they're a professional singer, they're a professional footballer, whatever floats your boat, someone out there right now, just like you, is doing it. They have it, they're doing it. And the only difference between them and you is that they started something. They started something. And they did not stop until they achieved what they set out to. That's the difference. That's the only difference. So if you're sat here right now, I hope that you're fired up, because life can literally be anything you want it to be. It really can. And that is in spite of where you might find yourself right now. I hate the saying, chase your dreams. It really bugs me. I'd rather say, because chasing them, it sounds like you're never actually going to catch them. It's like they're elusive and they're, oh, hang on, there's one. Oh, just got away. No, I would rather say, make your dreams. Because that is then giving you direct responsibility for making things happen. Because dreams don't just land on you. They don't just happen. If you're very lucky, you might find yourself in the right place at the right time and things just snowball. But for the most part, dreams are hard. Dreams are not easy. And that's why so many people may not achieve their dreams, or maybe they achieve them later in life. But hopefully, dreams should be taken seriously. It's serious business. So make them. Make your dreams. Take responsibility for making things happen. You are responsible for your own happiness in life. Get started. Dream big. Work hard. The sky's the limit. You can do this. Whatever this is, you can do this.